Listen, there's a lot to go over.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good stuff that we saw tonight. Still a couple things we can clean up, obviously. But this is a good step in the right direction, finally.
They needed it, man. Welcome to the 40-40 clubs.
There you go, baby.
Saul and Flex,
Let's go, baby.
1-0. Let's keep it going. No, this was much needed, man. Yeah. And this was fun. This was actually probably the most fun I've seen from this basketball team this year. They looked like they had some life. That bench looked like they had energy. Everybody was engaged from beginning to end. And these are glimpses we were looking for. Yeah. This is a nice bounce back, a second night where we got some production besides Devin and Kevin. And that rolls over from the Dallas game. And so now we got a little bit of a pattern. Yeah. Let's see if we can keep this up.
You know, I think one of the cool things that I'm going to take away from this game is that Devin and Kevin didn't feel like they forced anything. At all.
That's right.
Like they didn't try to force the issue. They didn't try to force the scoring. But, you know, we'll get into all that here in a little bit. Let's just go ahead and kind of reset what happened in the game. In the first quarter, obviously both teams kind of started off a little slow. Then they started getting it going. And really, ironically speaking, Eric Gordon got the first bucket of the game on a driving layup, and then they were off to the races. The Suns went up by 6 in that first quarter to go into the second. They were up 30-24. And then in the second quarter is really when things started to kind of take off a little bit more. Azubuike, I just felt like really brought a lot of energy, had some great solid minutes there, got some dunks, played with aggression, played with some tenacity. I thought he was the spark in the second quarter. And it was kind of, it kind of went back and forth, but EG, in that second quarter, had a fantastic 14-point effort on those threes. Yeah. Really take them up by 18 in that second going into half. And then coming out of the half, obviously, listen, Eric Gordon had 7 threes tonight, which is, I think it's his 18th time having at least 7 or more threes in a game, which is 9th all time in the NBA.
Wow.
It was fantastic. In the third quarter, they kind of kept pace. Yeah. Nothing too dramatic either way. They actually extended the lead by 20 going into the fourth. And in the fourth, they kind of played with their food a little bit. But towards the end, we were pretty much on triple-double watch. And then Kevin Durant obviously gets that last board with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the game to get himself a triple-double, his first as a Phoenix Sun. So it was a tremendous effort from start to finish. I thought this was one of the more complete games of the season. Yep. And I think when I say complete games, I mean in totality. From the starters to some of the guys on the bench, even guys like Saban Lee coming in and providing some solid minutes. They just got some juice today.
Yeah, you nailed it. They came out in the first quarter and kind of set the tone. It was a little slow. The second quarter is where they really started to get some momentum and started to feel themselves. I'm really proud of Azubuike, man. Yeah. I mean, that kid is tough. That kid brings the energy. You saw the dunk with the flex, right? Those are the things that this team was missing, and he added that in spades. And then Eric Gordon, for a guy that, he came out publicly a couple days ago and said, hey, I need to be more involved. I'm a scorer. I'm a shooter. I've been doing this a long time. This was a kind of game that makes you feel like, okay, you backed up what you were saying. This is a very good sign. I thought Grayson was really good. Listen, I don't have a complaint with anyone today. Saban coming off them. You got two-way guys that came in here and played good basketball. So
message.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, seriously.
Serious message. Drew Eubanks and Jordan Goodwin. I mean, you basically... And Yuta and KDB, right? Yeah. These are guys that aren't seeing the floor right now. And I like it. I like that Frank went to that. Now, my challenge to Frank going forward would be don't mess around. Give these guys, more minutes because they've earned it. You said something interesting. In a Dallas game, and coming off 11-11 double-double against Sacramento, you don't see anything from Azubuike. 4 minutes? You got 4 minutes. Now, tonight, that guy earned some more minutes. When we play on Charlotte on Friday, I look to see both of those guys, him and Saban, to get more minutes. So, great effort across the board, and this is exactly what the doctor ordered for this basketball team.
Yeah, absolutely. I really thought, Devin Booker is probably somebody we're not going to talk too much about tonight. No. So we'll go ahead and throw him in right now because we're going to get to the other guys that really stood out. But Devin Booker had a really kind of quiet game.
Yeah.
There was times out there where you didn't even notice he was on the court,
That's right.
which is not a great thing to say about one of your star players, but it also was a positive sign that he wasn't trying to force too much.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to get his. He wasn't trying to make some crazy passes. He just kind of let the game come to him.
Yep.
And And actually, because of that, by default, Kevin Durant
That's right.
ended up being the facilitator.
That's right.
And I mean, KD, I think he had like something like 13 assists in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was just phenomenal tonight. And again, when we're talking about a team, I said in the pregame, sometimes you have to go back to basics. And I felt like today was a basic game. Like, hey, guys, let's not try to do too much.
Yeah.
We can't make up for all the losses that we just had in one game.
That's right.
So let's just calm, cool,
Yep.
collected basketball and carry on. And I thought that's exactly what they did. And it was hey, listen, the numbers speak for themselves, right?
You know what this felt like? You know, in baseball, when you're down 4 or 5 runs, you can't go up there and try to hit a grand slam with the first, right? And it felt like it was kind of snowballing, and that's what they did today. They got singles today.
Yeah.
They got doubles today,
Yeah.
right? They didn't swing for the fences. They just kept their composure and said, we're just going to keep playing our game and keeping it simple. Book had 20.7 assists, 4 rebounds. He looked invisible sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was times in the game where I'm like, Book doesn't even look like he's on the court. But I will say this. By default, Kevin stepped up and had a tremendous triple-double. Eric Gordon hit shots. Grayson Allen hit shots. It also felt a little bit like Houston was daring them, saying, we're going to take Book away. We dare y'all to do this all game, and they did it. Now, that carries over.
Yes.
So now the next guy to report with a team like Charlotte, they're going to say, okay, we got to get a little close on EG. We got to get a little close on Grayson. That'll open the door for Devin. And I think that's what we need. We need guys to start playing better, and then you'll see Devin's game kind of open up by default as well.
No, I like that. Listen, going back to his point, Grayson Allen with 16 points, Eric Gordon with 27 points, Azubuike with 11. Like, if you'd have told me that before the game, I'd have felt pretty good about a Suns win, not knowing what Devin Booker and Kevin Durant were going to do. We saw this movie a little bit the other night with Grayson Allen having as many points as he did, but the other two weren't able to step up enough to really help him out. Tonight, I thought that they did a great job of just keeping pace.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one other thing that we're missing this year versus last year is that last year, because of Chris Paul and Devin Booker and how methodical and efficient they were, and even DA down low from time to time and Mikal, they were able to keep pace. So even if the threes weren't dropping, they would hit a bucket mid-range to kind of keep the pace going, make sure that you didn't lose total chaos, right? Or you didn't create total chaos. And this game, I felt like KD and Book just knew when to step up to hit that crucial jumper to keep pace and keep it going.
That's a great point, because that's what CP brought for us, stability, right? When things will go down, if we were up 10 and it would get to 6, he found that little elbow jumper. Let's get it back to 8, right? You saw KD do that a lot tonight. Every time they try to chip away, KD hit a timely bucket. What I saw today that I liked was awareness of what was going on in the game, how far they were up, and they never let it kind of get out of control. There was that one time where they were up 12. I think Houston got it back down to 5. That was towards the end of the second quarter, and they got a little bit frustrated. But then they got it. They got it back in order, hit a couple shots, and got the lead back to where they wanted to be. So offensive awareness and defensive awareness was very good throughout the whole 48 minutes today. And that's something they've been lacking like all season.
Up double digits halfway through the second quarter, and they never looked back.
Correct.
So that was great.